Recently, I attended an event called Discover Noh at the Umewaka Noh Theatre in Tokyo. As the title suggests, it was designed to introduce Noh to an international audience. English and Spanish conversations filled the theatre, and many of the participants seemed to have come from overseas. The event explored several fundamental questions. What is the Hashigakari, the bridgeway of the Noh stage? What secret teachings have been transmitted through Okina? And what should we pay attention to when watching Dōjōji? In other words, it was an event devoted to explaining Noh. As the afternoon unfolded, I found myself experiencing something rather strange. I had come to listen to explanations, but gradually the explanations themselves seemed to become less important. One of the most memorable moments came when Master Naohiko Umewaka spoke about why he had studied philosophy. Many teachings in Noh have been transmitted for more than 600 years. Some of them, he said, are difficult to understand. Seeking answers to those questions was one reason he turned to philosophy. Another remark stayed with me even more. Sometimes, he suggested, even a Noh actor cannot fully explain what has been transmitted. I found that deeply fascinating. Traditional performing arts seem to contain two different kinds of knowledge. There is knowledge that can be explained, and there is knowledge that is transmitted through the body. We naturally want to understand. We want explanations. We want clear answers. Yet, Noh always seems to leave something unexplained. That realization stayed with me throughout the evening. As I listened, I found myself thinking of Hans-Georg Gadamer, one of my favorite philosophers. Gadamer did not regard understanding as the simple acquisition of information. For him, understanding was something that happened through an encounter with tradition. We do not stand outside tradition and observe it from a distance. We are already within it. And understanding emerges through participation. Listening to the event, I began to wonder whether Noh might work in a similar way. Perhaps understanding is not only something we think, perhaps it is also something we experience. There was, of course, an explanation of the Hashigakari. The Hashigakari is often described as the pathway between worlds, a bridge from the other world into this one. When we hear that explanation, it makes sense. Yet, what remained with me was not the explanation itself. It was what happened immediately afterward. Master Umewaka appeared on the Hashigakari. Only moments before, English and Spanish conversations had been moving through the theatre. Then, the room became quiet. It felt as though my body understood something before my mind did. Understanding happened at that moment, not as a concept, but as an experience. Even more striking was the demonstration of Ranbyōshi from Dōjōji. There was no bell, no mask, no musicians, and yet the atmosphere changed. The space seemed denser. The flow of time itself seemed different. As I watched, I remembered an NHK documentary I had seen years ago. In that program, Master Umewaka performed the Ranbyōshi while wearing a heart rate monitor. Although he appeared almost motionless, his heart rate rose beyond 170 beats per minute. Watching him from only a few meters away, I found myself remembering that image. He seemed perfectly still, yet something intense was taking place beneath the surface. Even now, I am not entirely sure how to explain it, but something undeniably happened. Near the end of the event, during the question and answer session, a participant asked, "What do you think about the future of Noh in a society with a declining population?" Master Umewaka paused for a moment. Then he answered, "I don't know." That response stayed with me, not because it solved the question, but because it felt honest. The future is difficult to predict, yet one can still step onto the stage today. Before explaining the future, one must first perform today's Ranbyōshi. Perhaps Noh had survived for more than 6 centuries through the accumulation of such acts. Discover Noh was intended to explain Noh, perhaps. Yet what I carried home was not a collection of explanations. Instead, I carried home a series of questions. What does it mean to understand? What does it mean to inherit a tradition? And must everything that is truly understood be fully expressible in words? Noh can certainly be explained, yet somehow it always exceeds explanation. I suspect that this may be one of the most fascinating characteristics of the art. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again at the Noh Theatre. ではまた。